What's up, everybody? This is Ted. This is Sound Shop Vlogs Live. And we got Grunie in the house. We got Steve. If you watch the vlog, you know who these jokers are.
Yeah, we're the jokers.
Steve, tell them about Sound Shop. Tell them what it's all about.
Tell them what it's all about. We work for a sound company, a local sound company. And Ted films nothing of substance. It's more of like the BS that goes on in between the gigs.
Yes, I can't film anything of substance, otherwise I'd be fired. So
because of that. Okay.
If you're not familiar, yeah, we vlog. I vlog around the shop randomly, the goofiness, the shtick, everything that goes on. Subscribe if you're new.
The truck rides.
The truck rides, everything. But we are a decently sized, mid-sized sound company. Small, would you say small, Grunie?
I feel like in terms of gear, we have a decent amount of stuff. It never seems like we have as much as other people because we rotate through it a lot. There's some stuff that stays. That's kind of the usual, but
we are in New Jersey. Oh yeah. Oh, we work in the tri-state. Oh, guess who's back, dude? We got a special guest, and we are live. He's gonna sound like crap. Watch. Who's this guy? Wait a minute.
Oh, he's gone.
I can't put him.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, he's big.
What the heck? You refuse this kind of stuff. You're live, bro. Are you frozen?
Somewhat.
Yeah, it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger over there. Look at him. Yeah. Oh, look at him. He's frozen.
He's at the ARP.
What? Oh, he's at the ramp. If anyone wants to know, that's the owner.
Why don't you start out?
Are you watching this?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 people?
How come I can't see that?
Because you're on a ping. You're on your phone.
I can't see it. I'm on my computer. I just see whoever's
So
coming.
we got Alex Key. Yeah, that's a cool name, dude. Hello from Houston. Central Texas. Headwater Audio, dude. What do you guys Headwater, what do you guys do? I mean, what kind of like gear you got? All right, now Grunie, tell us your tale. How'd you get into audio, bro?
Oh, well.
Look at Kay.
Oh, Robbie B.
How's actually working?
I think it started when I don't know, I was like maybe 2012, trying to record my band in my basement and trying to make them better. Got stuck in obsessive, and here we are.
That's your story.
That's my story. No, then I did high school theater and working for companies, and yeah, that's it. Oh, he's gone.
Oh, what a! Then why does it say Digico Aficionado next to your name?
Well, you asked how I got started. You didn't ask for the,
We'll
that's how I got started. That's
eventually became a Digico Aficionado.
Right. Well, yeah, that happened along the way, but that's not how I got started. That was later in life. Because originally, I remember like first seeing them, like, oh, these things look hard, and then they're not. So,
Grunie, tell the truth. Is the Digico manual in a tab on your computer?
it is not. It is not, and I can prove it. Hang on.
Ted, you got to get one of those like live stream decks where you can do like sound effects live. You can do like a
Yeah, I can share. See, look, it's not anywhere. No.
You want me to share that?
Yeah, you can share. See, look, I'll prove him.
But Grunie, while Grunie is strictly audio, we got a versatile man to his.
I'm taking my screen off.
Steve, tell him your tale. This guy does lighting and audio, but he's a lighting wizard.
What do you mean by tell my tale? Like how I got?
How'd you get involved in the event production?
Professionally or like as a hobby?
Both.
All right. So as a hobby, I became a technician for a local Rocky Horror Picture Show production in my area, and that kind of got me started in terms of like researching and using gear and stuff like that. And then professionally, with Rock, in the Rocky Horror cast, I had a cast member who worked for Ksound freelance, and then I just asked him like, what do I have to do to get involved doing this like professionally? And then he gave me Kay's number, and then it's all rich history from there.
Oh, I speak.
And what's it like working with us, man? Admitting.
What's it like working for K? K,
Yes.
look at look.
It's crooked.
Great.
Let's hear this.
Alex K. I'm working with. What the heck is this thing called? Oh, Be Live. Not many people use it. It's not that bad.
Not D Live, B Live.
Yeah, Be Live.
That was
Did
an
you hit
Alvie
that?
joke.
Okay, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Who sounds better than you?
I'm leaving the ramp, which is on the same street that my house is on. And
Don't show an address.
I don't know. Maybe my reception's going in and out or something. I don't know.
I get no service at K's house. He needs to put like a cell tower up in his backyard.
I'll be at my house.
That's the next.
I'll be at my house in 1 minute, and then I'll be on the Wi-Fi.
All right. Should I hang up on you?
Do you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
So why are you talking about hanging up on me? I'm going.
This
I'm
is
going to my house.
fascinating so far. I don't think we're going.
Steve.
What?
Steve,
I want to
Kay.
hear Steve's answer. Why? What is it like working for me?
No, Kay, we were telling Steve was telling us how he started getting into it. And didn't you hire him randomly one day? Or no? I forget how it worked.
It was at Kesha at a college, and it rained, so the load-in situation got messed up. So everyone, all the hands left. So it was just me and Carrie and Mike, and then me and Carrie dumped the whole truck, and then Carrie left. I remember Carrie was like, "Do you want me to stay and like help set up?"
We were supposed to load in the day before, and then it was like they moved their like football practice or tennis or something into the gym, and they were like, "Oh yeah, sorry, we're taking the gym back today. You can't load in until like 5 o'clock in the morning or something." And I remember Steve was there with me. He was the only one. And then I think you and Carrie came back, right?
Yeah, me and Carrie dumped the truck, and then Carrie was like, "Do you want me to help you like set it up?" And then you were like, "No, I need you fresh tomorrow." And then that's when I was like, "Oh man, I want Mike to like rely on me like he does with Carrie." So then I stayed overnight. Me and you did a lot of the setup. And
Yeah, man.
Oh, right. I stayed in a hotel. Didn't I get a hotel room that night or something so that I could come back early?
I think you did, yeah.
Well, anyway, like Ted says, the chaos. That's
real quick, dude. Dan the Soundman Taylor. He says the epicenter of this nightmare, New York, and we are all here, bro.
All right.
We are in the
epicenter.
epicenter.
On the Wi-Fi now, so it might cut out or something for a second.
Now I don't want to open this can of worms, Grunie, but where was it? Can you see this one?
Oh, absolutely not. No. There's.
Kay can't see it.
We figured out what the wing is, and it's not something. There's not enough to it that we've already mastered it, and it's not good.
Okay, it's frozen. Oh, we got a lot of viewers. I'm impressed. I like it.
How many we got now?
I don't know. I just see the. Oh, let me answer. He had this guy, good old Omar. He asked earlier, when I'm not filming, what I'm doing. Should I really even say it? I can't even describe what I do, to be honest. But
well, I mean, you can.
I mean, let me see if I have something that could describe.
No, don't get graphic now.
This lint roller. Yeah.
Well, oh, Steve, I don't even get where you're going with that one. Oh, no. But I basically, I don't know. What would you say, Grunie? I assist Kay. I'm on Kay's side, I guess.
When you're not doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah, you book the people for the gigs.
Yeah, book the people.
Help work out logistics and transportation.
Help pack jobs occasionally.
You're the labor and transportation manager.
I used to mix. People forget I did used to mix, bro.
I think that's such BS. I think you're lying.
He still does. He does the Rutgers football games.
But I do mix. I did back in the day. Oh, he's back. Back in the day with the. Hey, did I? Hold on, he's not back yet. I'm trying to tell him I used to mix, dude. They don't believe me. I used to mix him.
Dude, you used to mix on a powered head and we would put the kick drum and the vocals in, and that's about
Oh, I
it.
had 32 channels a couple of times.
Dude, you might even have mixed. I don't even know if you realize this. You might have mixed My Chemical Romance before they were huge.
I know. I got that on my resume.
At the M&M Hall, because I definitely left you on some gig.
You hear that, everyone? I mixed MCR, so.
Do you remember it all? Like at Birch, like I was working at Birch Hill, and you were at.
I remember one of those
M&M
gigs.
Hall.
I had like a feedback nightmare. I don't know if that was before.
Probably that was the one.
I don't remember if that was
probably the day they hired their own guy.
Total feedback. Everyone coming up to me. Oh my god, it was bad.
Yeah, after that gig, MCR was like, "Man, we got to get our own sound guy."
Now look at Arno.
He forgets to call me. Yeah, that is Ted's job.
Can Kay see those the comments or no?
I'd have to put my reading glasses on, and I don't want to.
Oh yeah, let's not go there. We don't want. Look at Grunie laughing.
Well, I'm an old man, dude.
I'm not laughing.
Well, can you read this one to Kay, Grunie? Read this one for us. What would you recommend over the Wing that is the same price bracket and comparable capabilities? Okay.
That's a tough question because the one thing the Wing has going for it is all the outputs and the mix buses. So
Alvie One, the new firmware. What is it? V11 supposedly has a lot more outputs.
But is that the same price bracket?
Checkany.
Probably not the same. I mean,
I think it's like 16.
I think the Wing has 24 stereo outs, right? Like 24 stereo mixes.
I think it's 16.
Even still,
I feel like 16 was where.
Even still, that's the thing that the Wing had going for it. That's probably the number one reason I bought it is because I saw how many in-ear mixes you could do with it. So honestly, like there's nothing in the price point that can do it. You know.
Yeah. So actually, the Alvie One is 24.
24 stereo auxes.
16 monitor auxes, which are stereo, and 8 effects, which you could make, monitor auxes if you want it to be.
Yeah, but that's not
those groups
and to oranges compare. That's an.
It isn't, but it's in the same. It's in the same-ish price bracket.
No, it isn't. What are you out of your mind? You know how much it costs to get an Alvie One?
I know how much.
I think an Alvie One bare minimum, starting from scratch, meaning like you don't have anything, you don't have a computer, you have nothing. I'm pretty sure it was like $10,000.
Yeah, no, the one for Gus was 11.
There you have it. So $11,000 versus.
So the Wing
cost is 23, I think, 2,300.
And then add to actually get the 40 inputs out of it. You need another 2,000
for what the
2,000 bucks. Yeah, for a stage box and a snake and.
I don't think so. Isn't the 32 channel one cheap? It's like $750 or something.
But to get the whole 40 inputs that you get out of it,
still
to take full advantage.
All right, even still, then let's just say max $4,000 to have a Wing like maxed out. That's still way cheaper than anything else.
Yeah, I think the SQ5 is probably around that price bracket too.
No, it isn't. You're talking the Allen Heath thing.
Yeah, like the little.
Those are more
thing.
money than you would think.
How much are those?
If I was at the shop, I'd be opening the price list, but
on Sweetwater they are. No, I'm not interested in the Audi SQ5.
Grunie's just mad he can't say Digico. Yeah.
Well, I mean, truth be told, the
S21 is around that price bracket too.
Which one?
The S21.
I don't think it has that many stereo auxes, though, right? Dude, I don't know. I installed an S21 when it first came out. Used it for like a couple days and then was like, yeah, I don't like it. And
it's a bit iPad-y.
Okay, Omar is at.
Either way, so the answer is like nothing. The Wing still wins. There's nothing comparable to it in its price range. It's just not the easiest thing to work on, which I'm sure everyone's figured out.
Okay, Omar's asking, I thought you had eye surgery to fixing.
Yeah, so it fixed my distance vision, and it totally screwed up anything close to me. And I don't know, man. I kind of wish I didn't have it done, honestly, but
I just gave you the finger. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't.
Did you just pick up the phone and then hang it up immediately?
Dude, it's a telemarketer.
It could have been like hi, I need a sound right now. It's like a $200,000 job.
It said right there, telemarketer.
Fair enough.
All right, let's see. So the wing is it's 24 faders. It is not 28 buses. That's a lot. I remember it. Let's see. This is real gripping TV, just watching me Google stuff.
Okay, do you agree with this? The Alvie One is expensive as fuck.
No, it is not.
What?
It is, but I mean, I don't even want to say you get what you pay for because it feels like it's expensive even for that. But like, I mean, you basically have a Digico console that you can bring on an airplane. You know, I mean, why does everyone love plugins? Because they sound good. So that's the one thing you are getting. Your whole mixer is like the best plugins. So, you know, it's not like it's not a thing that's trying to compete with like the world of cheap consoles. It's boutique, you know. And it does sound good. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, we played with it a lot when we first got it. And
It really depends on what IO you get with it, because I'm becoming less and less okay with some of the stuff I'm hearing out of the Tactus box. Like I just have files going through. There's so much crosstalk on some of those inputs, and it's bad.
yeah, so my extent of playing with it was mixing down tracks.
Right.
I wasn't like going out and doing shows with it. I mean, I
But
did a couple things.
But even the SPs was recorded with the stage grid sound stage tech boxes. The first ones you bought, the white ones.
The Waves box, the ones that
yeah. Sound Studio, that's what it was called.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so yeah, if you have nicer preamps, then it's going to sound even better. But it's also going to sound good with shitty preamps because it's still giving you all the plugins. You know.
Yeah.
I don't think that Tactus sounds any worse than an Avid before you start playing with plugins. You know.
Yeah, I mean, well, a lot of like the stuff like the summing is all done in the software, so they haven't fixed that. But it's like the front end of it. Like I'll about to show you later, but like you can hear the vocals in the bass DI.
Yeah. Either way, if you can afford an LV1 and you get it, it sounds really good, but it's cumbersome. I mean, you're relying an awful lot on Cat5 cables.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff is on Cat5.
Not just the main, not even just the main snake run. All the little interconnect cables, just a little Cat5 cable.
Yeah. But if you open anything up, it's nice. All.
And if you're trying to make an LV1 system that's nice, then you got to have like, you know, a rack panel with even more Cat5 connectors to be able to do like a quick disconnect from the stage. But there's just a lot of places where something can go wrong.
Right.
That's the only thing about it.
And I feel like it's a bit basic too in what it can do with routing, which is, it's very much you can get a group, and you can get that group to left, right, and that's kind of it. The extent of your flexible routing. You can do stuff in the matrices, but that's what it is. I'd like to address somebody's comment that said only lame mixers rely on plugins to make their mix sound good. Yeah, I mean, you could use a screwdriver that's too big or too small and just spin it around and eventually it'll catch, or you could just use a screwdriver that's the right size, and that's kind of what plugins are. Sometimes.
Come on. No, I agree with the dude's comment. He's right.
It's frozen, by the way.
The dude's comments are no, by the way.
Yeah, I was trying to keep him anonymous
just say
there.
Arno said this.
Yeah, well, I mean, why would you not use the right tool if you need to?
Hey, so how come I can hear you guys, but you guys can't hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Oh, but my video's frozen?
Yeah. But it's fine because you have like a cool
You're pondering something.
He's like,
so first of all, dude, Grunie, you don't need all those plugins.
You don't.
Oh no.
I don't use that many.
I mean, here's the thing. It's like I always say about things like the plugins, your screwdriver analogy is way off because that has nothing to do with it. It's almost like fine sandpaper. It's like you can get the job done with like a rougher grade, but like, all right, you're not going to get the silky, perfect, smooth finish unless you use like an ultra fine sandpaper. But like most people wouldn't even notice or give a shit. Only the guy mixing is even going to hear something like that because he's used to what it sounds like without doing that.
Arno, we're talking about really fine details, though.
Look what Arno says, though.
We're talking about
What
fine
thing?
details.
Look at that picture of Arno. He looks like a celebrity there. Look at him. My God. Looks
How
like
many
he was
people are
on.
watching now? Did all your Texas people sign off?
No, they might. I want to point something out, though. I want to give someone a pop. Where is he? Got to give this dude a pop, man. He's doing big things out there. Look at him. Follow him on Instagram. He's got some acoustics, Grunie.
They've been doing some good webinars. That M1 thing looks pretty cool.
I got one for Steve, though. Question: Can you see this, Steve?
How does it feel to be a lighting guy working with these guys?
Well, Steve does audio. People forget.
Well, K does everything, like video, lighting, audio. He did well. Obviously, he does more audio, right? It's a sound company, but I don't know. We're what lighting guy, sound guy. We're just furniture movers in the end, right? We pick cases up, put them down, pack a truck wrong. Oh, it's taken me a while to do the rat strap. It's all the same BS. It's all the same horrible work. So, and it's a paycheck.
Sean Thomas is right.
I think he left you.
Oh, he's back again, dude. Let's see. Oh, we think he's back. Any questions you could see in here, Grunie? I kind of like. I got a little nice.
I'm trying to open up a multi-rec session to prove I don't use that many.
Oh, you really are? Only Grunie.
Hang on, where's? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Everything's really laggy.
I wanted to get into when Kay gets back. What's laggy? Yours?
Yeah, well, just everything else on my computer now that this is running.
I wanted to get into it when Kay comes back. What we think the future is going to be, like when we're going to be back. If it's going to be a couple months from now, it's going to be the fall. I mean, it's all a guessing game, but
yeah,
Kay will have the most insight more than us because he's the owner. So, Robbie B, what's going on, Robbie B? No mountains today?
All right, here we go.
What is Grunie showing us?
All right, so this is my multi-rec session, and this is exactly what the LV1 session looks like too, except it had all the emo stuff because there's no channel EQ. It's the emo plugins. So, like gates, SSL, one SSL channel. Gate, I like it better than most channel gates, the emo gate. I think it's faster. SSL channel, parallel comp, verbs, vocal, which is comp, multiband, and then like another EQ out the back of it. And that's it. That's not that many plugins. Hey, there's nothing on there. That's just to get them in line. And then just something on the tracks group. And that's it. That's it for plugins for Grunie.
It's a very good question we got here, Grunie. Hit that by accident. What's everyone doing income-wise? Employment, unemployment, savings. Luckily, I think all three of us are collecting unemployment. So,
yeah,
I'm still pending.
You're still pending? Ruh-roh.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for the question, Daniel. What is good? All right, Grunie, this one's for you.
yeah. Yes, it is a cheap shot because, I mean, it is 28 buses, and I forget if they also count, if they're splitting up their stereo buses and counting like each side of that in as a bus. But yeah, no, I mean, we're talking about that as a monitor console. The only thing that would work, that you can send inputs to as an in-ear console is the auxes. So I think it's something like 16, which is no more than an LV1 or an S21.
Ooh. Grunie never shows his secrets. You got to show us your toms.
I mean, you saw them already. I mean, there's not a whole closed out of here. You can look, and you'll see there's not a lot. There's nothing special because again, we tune the drums, we put the mic, we choose a good mic, and we put it. And you guys see my screen?
Hold on, I'm putting him.
Can everybody see this?
Yeah, that's it.
It's
All right,
pixely, so you're gonna have to talk through it.
All right, this is a gate. We do, some filtering on the side chain for the gate. Just attack and release times. EQ on that, a little bit of top, take some stuff out of the mid. With the overheads I use, I take out a little bit more mids than you would think to, and then I leave that in the overhead, so you get kind of like the 600 and that stuff from the overhead, and then just take that out of the direct mic because then it gets a bit much. I think there's like a high pass and low pass on the channel, on the console channel, and I use the emo gate, and that's the Grunie toms. That's it, floor tom. I think just on this, I was just using the gate in waves for this. So I'll have to get a session later, but yeah, those are my secrets. There's not a whole lot to them.
Now this, I feel bad for. Yeah, this is true, man. This is happening to a lot of people, man. This is. Arno says no info for U.S. freelancers. Yeah, I mean, you see on the news every day they're announcing something new, but it's got to event. Whoa, who
I
left?
agree. I think that's probably why I'm still pending unemployment wise, because it has K listed as an employee, an employer, but I went 1099 2 years ago. At this point, year ago.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I'm gonna pretend like I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, this leads to.
Well, I think it all depends on if you were employed in the past. What is it, like 18 months?
Yeah.
So you might still just squeak by on it.
We'll see.
This leads to what I wanted to talk about. Lost 2K worth of gigs. It's crazy. Which the question is,
That's
when?
it?
What?
Nothing.
Oh,
Just
no, that was
kidding.
wrong.
I'm kidding.
But he didn't mean that. But so far, he's right. So, when do you think? There's no timetable. It's all like a guessing game. When do you hope to be back working? This is why I wanted Kay here.
I'm optimistic about late June, at least for rehearsals.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I was thinking June. I've been thinking June, like up until 10 minutes ago when Kay said, "No, there's no way."
I think a good gauge for our industry is to go by sports, kind of. And baseball's not going to start until at least late June, July. So that's the marker, like maybe, but we'll see. And as he says, I agree with him. Haniel, my guess would be Q4. Hopefully it's before that, but
Still working?
look at
Oh yeah, they cut it early.
yeah, everyone's seeming to think it's September.
Is that Ryan Anderson?
Oh.
I thought I heard his voice.
That's all they do is talk.
Oh no.
But yeah, I mean, I was thinking June for a while, but I think the live stream concert might become a thing for a while, and the broadcast mixing. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, mid-July. I don't know.
I just got a note that says when you read someone's comment, read the whole question. I guess if someone's listening, I'm sorry about that. It's our first live show.
We're still learning, despite
we're
watching one of these every day.
freestyling, dude.
I'd like to. Let's see. What else was on the list of things we were supposed to talk about? Or was I not supposed to say that?
No, you can. But we're kind of just
future show topics. I want to talk about something. I want to talk about some.
Topics. That if we keep it,
well,
we do this like once a week or twice a week. If we do it, I think
once a week because we don't have that much to talk about now, and we've only done this once.
Yeah, you're right.
I want to talk about what I've been doing to learn and stay sharp because I think that there's a lot of good stuff out there that not everybody knows about sometimes. So if you don't already know, every day on I think it's every weekday on the L Acoustics website, they have some really good webinars they've been doing. They're not necessarily about their products. They're kind of just about line array deployment in general. have this new product called M1 that's gonna be really cool. So yeah, if you go on their website, they have cool stuff, and you can see their archive. If you guys don't know who Pooch is, the guy who mixes Iron Maiden, he's been doing a lot of YouTube videos, and he has this, I think it's like 10 hours worth of content on a website, and it's good stuff. It's like $100 for 10. It's $10 an hour basically. And what else have I been watching? That's it. Those are the main two. I think JBL's gonna do some stuff later. Digico's been doing something every day, most days. Yeah, what are you guys watching out there in the world? What are you guys watching every day to stay sharp and learn?
Well, ACT Lighting made all of their online courses for the MA free for purchase, so I think I got everything.
Yeah, that's solid.
Yeah.
Oh, he's back.
I was trying to make it work on the computer. It's not working.
Okay, we're just discussing on when a lot of people are saying probably the fall. When do you think everything will be back? Like, it's all a guessing game, but
Yeah, Smart Rational Acoustics is doing their stuff for free.
I thought, like I said, I was hoping September, but I don't even think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's put it this way. I got my fingers crossed that it's September, but I don't have high hopes.
Grunie, not to cut you off what you're talking about, but is this a good deal, Steve?
Yeah, it's not bad. It depends on how much.
Can you see that or not?
What's a good deal? What are we talking about?
18,000 for an MA2 light.
I thought that was like a $14,000 thing.
Nah.
Yeah, 14 if you're lucky, I think.
Yeah, useful.eu. You just got to pay the shipping.
Okay, you should try to get on the computer so then you can see the comments when I put them up. But
It's telling me to enable. It's telling me to enable my camera, and I've done that, and it's still not working. So back to the phone.
On the wing, do the stereo buses allow you to unlink bus compression from left to right on that bus? I don't think so. You can make buses mono, but I don't think you can. Are you talking about like the API 2500 where you can you have the percentage of unlinkage like a Fairchild? I don't think it does that. You can make buses mono, so if you're using like two separate mono buses, one's not going to hit the other. But I don't think you can do like true stereo. But I don't know actually. I never actually looked into that hard. It's a good question for Uli. What else do we have here?
And don't forget to.
Yeah, RF venues doing stuff.
I hate to say this. Don't forget to. Like, comment, subscribe, the whole bit. Hit that like button if you like this. If not, hit the thumbs down if you feel inclined. But don't want to hurt our feelings.
That's on Richard. Someone has. Yeah. I got my X32 over there. If you can see, I got my X32 sitting on my chair.
He sleeps with his X32, people.
I do not.
Oh, show me your Digico blanket. Don't you have a Digico bed sheet?
I do not.
No.
That's a good rumor. I think we should start that rumor though. That would be cool.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier.
What do you think about the Allen Heath D-Live? Arno's a better guy to talk about D-Live because he owns one. I think they sound good, and it's cool, that they have all the different options and that the processing is in the rack. I don't like the surface though. It just doesn't make sense to me. I know that you can set it up to do whatever you want, and it's just the way it's laid out just doesn't gel with how I think. I like to see everything in a strip, but I think you all know I'm a Digico fan, and it's just the way it's laid out makes a lot more sense. I sleep with my 32nd X. No, X32.
That was a good one. Yeah.
It's not that I'm stubborn. It's I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well,
I can get around on it. When I'm looking at it, like.
Steve, plan on buying a
there's a lot more poking that I want to do to get
Me
stuff.
personally, full size MA, no.
Why not?
I would buy a light.
Was that meant?
I'd buy an MA light. I'm not going to get a full size though. That thing's ridiculous. It's not ridiculous.
You'd want to use it, all right?
I mean, it's
What?
what? It's the size of an LS9 X32, probably.
What?
I mean, the full size MA. I mean, it's probably the size, maybe a little bit
MA
wider.
is, like, probably as long as like
CL5, maybe.
It's got 3 screens on it, and I can't remember how big the screens are.
Yeah, it might be deeper. I'm thinking like width, because when it's in a case, and you think about like keeping a case in your apartment, how tall it is doesn't really matter. It's just the width and getting it up in and out.
Oh yeah, and I'm not like having to put in an Uber to get to the
and
airport.
it folds down too, so it's like it's thin. The case is probably like that by that.
No. I'll go command wing and fader wing all day.
Grunie.
Bruno.
A question for
We're
you.
not going to stick to that. Yeah.
When you reply to a comment, do you have the ability to post it up or no? To show it? Because do that now.
How do you do that?
There's an eyeball that goes next to it.
Yeah, I don't have that. I mean, the only eyeballs on here are just mine.
So when you go to the comments, you don't see an eyeball. Like if you go next to the. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably just tell you to eyeball it, and then no X keys. What are the like the Raspberry Pi thing? Alex Key, you can put his comment up there. The X keys. Are you talking about? Are you talking to me or Steve? Actually, because that actually makes a difference.
It looks like
Yeah.
Busy man.
Business as usual. Nothing's changed.
All right, so what are we talking about?
We're talking. What are we talking about right now? Well, I mean, the X keys. I mean, that depends if you're talking to me or to Steve. I've never gotten into the it's like the Raspberry Pi thing, but I know there's a lot of people that have done some pretty cool stuff with that and the GPIOs.
I have no idea.
Is it a Raspberry Pi like a video game thing?
I think it's like some kind of contact closure programming OS. I'm not 100% sure what it is.
Okay, here's one for you. Can you see it? On the CL5, is there an easy way to custom fader banks in the Central Logic other than the custom bank directly under the Central Logic?
Dude, I don't know.
You don't know that, Kay?
I don't. I'd have to be in front of it to.
Central Logic.
Any way to get custom fader banks in the middle? I don't know.
Hang on, let me look at a picture of one. Nobody else has. All right.
You ought to have Jeopardy music to play for times like this.
Have what?
And it could be Foo Fighters times like this.
Well, it's hard to find. Well, you got to catch up on the comments. They are rolling in. I like these.
I don't know. I don't 100%
I got one.
understand what the question is because I think there is a button for it to get the
I'm looking
the
for
custom
one.
faders in.
Someone's asking if I'll come through financially.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
Yeah, I mean, because the bottom line is I'm in the exact same boat as every other company out there. So I don't think it's going to be like a thing where if you run out of money before this all ends, you're broke and finished. You know, everyone's just waiting for it all to start back up again. I can say this, being the owner of an audio production company, at least for me, the money is like a roller coaster. There's big ups and then there's big downs when I make a big purchase. I happen to be in a big up right now, which is good because I'm not spending anything. Like I'm literally spending my money on toilet paper and food and nothing else. I owe JBL some money right now, but they're not getting it.
Hey, don't say that live.
I've told
Only Kay would say that.
if I paid JBL what I owed them right now, like I'd be broke. And the purchase that I just made, like I was looking at April going, not even April, I was looking at March going, yeah, after I do this, and this job, 3 jobs, I'll pay this off. And then the world basically ended. So, you know, now I got a bunch of new A12s and a few more subs sitting there that aren't. I have no intention on paying for it. At least
You
not.
got those S28s sitting there.
They can come get them if they want them back. We haven't used them.
I like Sabri Amrani's question. You can put that up
Okay.
on there.
I can. I got a couple songs that I learned too.
No, different question. Okay.
What about the piano? He asked if I could play the piano.
From Sabri, he says, so again, same question to Kay. What do you think about Allen and Heath D-Live products?
I think they're good, and
Oh,
they are. They're just they haven't caught on all the riders that I have. So, you know, if every single rider that I had showed that a D-Live was acceptable, I'd buy a D-Live. But pretty much every rider I see says Digico, a little bit of the S6L now, which isn't enough for me to justify getting it. That's kind of it. I mean, is there any other boards? I mean, a profile is still on every rider, surprisingly.
yeah, that's Grunie's enemy. Grunie's not a fan of the profile, right?
That's funny because I remember like when I first got into Live Sound, it was like the profile heyday, and I thought it was the greatest thing. And I had the editor, and I did a couple kicks with SC48. Oh, this is so great. And then I really started using a profile. I'm like, I don't like this.
And for those of you who have never watched the vlog, there's a lot of good episodes of Kay and Grunie discussing consoles, and it's funny. So check them out.
I mean, if it was up to me, I wouldn't even own a Digico because I think they're ridiculously overpriced.
Kay.
What?
Digicos are king, bro. They are. Come on.
They're a lot of money, like a lot more money than everything else. So, you know, me owning them is begrudgingly. Yeah, it's a good console. Sounds great, blah, blah, blah. You could do this and you could do that with it, but it's a lot of money. And I got to look at something like that and go, how long is it going to take me for this thing to justify its existence? You know, it's going to take a long time. Grunie, how long did the SD5 sit there before I started getting work with it? I mean,
and it was a minute. It was a minute.
And I got the SD5 cheap, you know, for all things considered. The way I bought the SD5 was a little, well, all luck. It was all luck, you know. And could you imagine if I paid what that thing is supposed to be?
Right.
You know, I don't think I'd have else.
Excuse him saying that if you're
Steve, you got something to say?
There's a question for Steve. If you
yeah,
want to put that
the way that I program, or even like play back a show, I'm pretty much busking the whole time. So the X keys or the list key doesn't really matter to me. I'm just not that good of a lighting guy.
Oh, Steve. No, Steve's good, dude. I'm not trying to hype him up. Okay? Give it to Steve.
What?
He's a good lighting guy. Come
Steve's
on.
great.
I was reading the comments.
Do you want to put Ted? Do you want to put the last two up there real quick?
Oh, all right, here. So.
Don't even get Grunie started on this. Yes, it sounds like I'm having a friggin' Escalade in the back of your truck. My God.
It is catching on a bit now that put on that small surface. But there's a lot. You need 3 pieces to make it work, and every time we've rented one, it's broken.
Yeah, so I can tell you right now why I don't like the Avid S6L. It's a gigantic road case, and it's 2 other gigantic road cases every time I rent it. I'm like, oh my God, this again still? Like I have to have another enormous road case for the brain of the console besides the racks, right? Every time we rent it, it's like, here we go. It's like, all right, I got to take up a quarter of the pack just for this console. That's one thing I like about Digicos. It's just the console and the rack. That's the way it should be, you know, unless Waves is in the picture, but that's another story.
Then that's a Pelican you can put on top of the rack.
Yeah.
Grunie, question for you.
Yes.
What do you think about the Digico SD12?
So I've only done 1 gig on an SD12, and
I want to finish talking about the S6L.
Okay.
So there was this thing, if everyone remembers, called the Avid S3L, right? And the S3L was like the first new console when Avid and some other company like joined. Rudy, help me on this.
It was with the Euphonics.
Yeah. So this company Euphonics, and Avid came together, and I remember I went to this class about the S3L, and I don't want to say the name, but the guy who was giving the class basically told us an aside about how Euphonics kind of won the battle of going forward and how the designs were going to be. And that's why the S3L and the S6L look the way they do. and they don't look anything like a profile, which was stupid because the profile is, it's like a sound man's console, like nice big buttons, like kind of easy to tell what's going on. And that S3L, man, there's tiny little buttons that are like right next to the fader. They're not easy to get at. And the S6L is the same thing. So, they made a terrible decision. They're going the Euphonics route, not sticking with Venue. So, I mean,
they've done some cool stuff with it. Like you can do whatever you want with the events, which is cool. But again, like every time we've rented one, it's broken.
Every time we've run fiber cable for the Digico, there's something that's broken, so this can be said. Dude, I mean, for the longest time we were getting these random error messages with the fiber, but it was working. And then you have to make a decision. Do we go? Like this, why is it telling us something's wrong with the fiber, yet everything's going fine and it's fine, and then you got to sit there praying that what's causing that error doesn't show up in the middle of the show.
I think Arno maybe could answer this too, but I know that the S6L can do fiber, but it's the what is it? The ST connectors, like the little orange block ones, little tan little orange block ones, and I feel like those probably are riskier than the HMAs. I don't know if his tour used Cat 5s or fiber, because remember when we did Beck, and he had like the little skinny tiny fibers.
A question here asking about the SD12. I think that's a great console, but right now I have a 10, a 5, and an SD8 24. So there's no reason for me to buy one because I kind of have my bases covered, So if that board existed when I was buying Digicos, I probably would have bought one, but it didn't. So.
Okay, check this out. Don't tell them the story about these, but.
Yeah, dude, don't even get me started about CDJs. It's right, man. CDJ 2000, CDJ 2000 NXS. Now it's got to be NXS2. Dude, I can't stand these Jaeger. It's the most annoying thing because.
And what's the all-in-one? We bought that all-in-one that no one wanted. We thought it would solve problems, and no one liked it.
Yeah, like DDJ, right?
The DDJ 1000 SRT, which is basically two CDJs.
Yeah, it should.
DJ 100 and Serato only. But what is the thing about it? They can't.
It has no
thumb drive, right?
Yeah, no thumb drive. So you got thumb drive DJs rolling up.
I can't stand DJ gear. It's so annoying.
Behringer Wing is asking, do we use a planning software to pack for the gig?
Yeah,
Grunie has done that. Grunie has done that.
So there's two answers to that. There's two software. There's Rentman, which is different. And I'll let Kate talk about that. But I have tried like one of those truck packing softwares, and it was cool. It just took a long time because you have to go around and measure everything.
I don't
dick with it
about physical dimensions. He's talking.
That's what I thought he meant, like truck pack.
Yeah, that's what I thought about. Yeah,
I think he's talking about like, do we use anything to prep the gig? Like, yeah, we use a program called Rentman, which we don't really go 100% using like every single feature of it. Like, for instance, like I don't put every single cable that's going on the gig. Like the people that are packing it have to have a little bit of know-how. Usually I'll put together what I call the meat and potatoes of the gig. Like it's going to be this many boxes side. It's going to be this many wedges, this many mixes, this console and that console. But if I say there's 8 mixes, somebody needs to know that means I need this many amplifier racks and we're going to need this much NL4 cable. I put in the software that we need an NL4 cable pack, but I'm not actually going in there and figuring out this many 50s, this many 100s, this many 10s. I should, but we don't. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I don't think Kay will know. So what about Nexo products, the new stuff? I mean, the STM series and the GEOM series.
I couldn't tell you anything, dude. All I know is JBL, and I'm happy with it, and I don't even listen or check the other products. It's like I'm way too.
Arno, what was that rig at Jackrabbit Slim's? That was a Nexo rig, and it was an old one though, but that sounded pretty good. I feel like they're kind of out of relevance right now, though.
Nexo was big shit for a while. I mean, everybody was telling me, "Oh, Nexo," and it's like it doesn't matter because I'm not the kind of company that's going to buy a rig for a tour, and I could be like, "Oh, let's try the Nexo rig on this one." It's like, no, that would be like a major life change to me, to change from JBL to anything else,
Okay, tell them what we got. Tell them our inventory. It's pretty big.
we got, it's a weird number, 28 VTX V25s, 24 A12s right now, 18 S28 subs, 32 of the A8s. No more V20s. Those are gone. What am I missing? Am I missing
Well, we got like the VRX, the
A8s.
J8s.
the J8s? You mean the B18?
Yeah, we got some of those.
Yeah, we don't have J8s. What are you talking about? What's
No,
a J-
I'm talking about the
No, the RCF he's talking about.
RCFs.
Oh, I got a
I'm
million.
talking everything. But
Yeah, I got a million of those RCF sticks. I mean, to me, those RCF things, the Evox J8.
oh, they are MVPs, bro.
Yeah, the Evox J8. That's a better solution than a speaker on tripod. That's basically all that is to me. So
They're
if it,
pea shooters, but they do the job.
yeah, but I mean that's usually what you're doing with a PA with a speaker on a tripod is pea shooting. As you
Oh, this is a good question for Kay. Do you do your own repairs? Kay is the king, dude.
hell yeah, because
Kay is who will fix anything.
it's way cheaper than sending it out, and it gets done quicker if you just do it yourself. Can't tell you how many times I've sent gear out to get fixed and it comes back and it's still broken. That's the other thing too. And in fact, that's the thing. Like anytime I'm trying to get something repaired, all the manufacturers always try to get you to go to the local repair guy. Oh, we have an authorized repair. Dude, they never fix it. You send it there, it's gone for a month, you go and pick it up, and then the first gig, it's doing the exact same thing you sent it to him for. And it's like, what the hell did I give it to the guy for? I only send it back to the manufacturer. It's the only way to get something done. Usually, because if they can't figure it out, they'll just like replace the whole motherboard or do some kind of drastic thing like that and then send it back to you. Whereas like a guy in like some local repair shop is going to take a guess. They're like, I don't know, I'll change the capacitors. Hopefully it's that. And it never is. So.
And Steve, what do we call that when Kay is working and fixing something?
Tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision.
About fixing my own stuff also, it depends if I can figure out what the problem is for sure. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to attempt to fix something if I'm guessing. Like if a board needs new faders, that's an obvious thing. I'll just replace the faders and solder them in. A lot of times if a power supply goes bad on something, like if you try turning it on and it just doesn't turn on, that's usually the power supply. And you can usually look at it. If you look at a capacitor, the top of it's bubbled up. So like I'll look for an obvious thing, or I'll look for like a burn mark or something, or which we just figured out with the SD, with one of our Digico SD racks, right?
Yeah.
The fuse, a fuse is sitting in like these two little alligator clips like this, and one of them just was like bent open too much, and we sat there racking our brains over it for a day or two, and then finally I just gave those two things a squeeze, and then it gave a better bite on the fuse, and then all of a sudden it came back to life. And we left it on in the shop for a few days, and it was fine. So, dude, you know what Digico would want to fix something like that?
Okay, our main man, Enkit, he was just going to ask about the small RCF arrays like the S28s or the 26s.
I mean, if it's all you can afford, it'll do it. Is that what we're talking about? The HDL6?
What's the one that
No.
Timus has?
No,
Yeah,
Timus
is that the
got
one that Timus has?
Small RCF arrays like the 20. Yeah. I mean,
Isn't that what Scott has? Or no?
yeah. So I mean, those arrays, the RCF ones, they're not bad, but they're not going to put you in the next league. And I learned that the hard way when I first bought QSC wide lines. Every job I did, it was like you had to do some convincing, or like I had to have a talk with an engineer who already knew he didn't like the wide lines. And I wish I just bought Vertec right out of the gate and suffered. And just, again, we're talking a long time ago when, every purchase was like, potential like bankrupting.
Kay definitely agrees with this.
But
Buy the board directly from Yamaha and replace it yourself. PCBs are easy to swap.
better yet, if you know somebody who's an actual dealer for Yamaha, you can get the parts for next to nothing. So, and it's well worth it. I mean, again, Yamaha's the easiest ones to deal with as far as getting parts and fixing stuff. And, another reason why I love Yamaha.
Steve got one for you. What do you think about DTS lighting products?
I don't know what that is.
Really?
Let's see. Yeah, I don't know the name. Let's see.
I like the Behringer wing question.
Where is it?
What was the smallest, annoying but important thing I forgot? Oh my God, this can go on forever. I think the one that I hate the most is when I run out of NL4 couplers. I mean, I've done a couple jobs where I bring a mile of cable in every NL4 coupler that I have, knowing that I'm going to have like some ridiculous run. And then you get there and you're like 2 couplings short.
Call Ted.
Well, Ted's whole job working for me started out as you're right. Ted, your whole position, like, I don't know, however many years ago, was like, you were the just in case guy. I had you just stay at the shop when I was on a gig as like, I don't know, there's probably going to be something stupid. But the worst is if you're doing a job that's like 4 hours away and that's not an option anymore. You really got to throw the kitchen sink at it and think of everything. So I would say NL4 barrels is the worst thing. We've forgotten L2130s before, which is the power cable to power up the amp racks. That one's pretty common. I mean, if I could go back in time to when I made the distros, I would have tried to figure out a way to make that cable live in the rack, but the racks just don't have the room for them.
Hey, man, John Simmons, this guy's a legend, bro. His YouTube channel's awesome. Oh, man. What are you up to today, John? He's out in Arkansas. But
I like that. Oh, bring up that question about the Avantis.
What's Alex Key, the local guy? I guess he's talking about like a local repair guy.
Yeah. What are my thoughts? I don't know anything about it.
What kind of? Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go.
I was saying, yeah, I've been waiting for there to be an offline software to give it a shot, and they just haven't. I don't think there's one out yet, so I don't know anything about it. Looks cool.
Ooh, good question. I'm technically not your first employee. We got Tom Brady was your first employee, right? Kevin.
No, not really.
Oh, it looks like Tom Brady.
First employees, I would consider that like who's the first person that was on the payroll, rather than just somebody I hired and gave them a couple bucks at the end of the day.
Ooh, that was Tyler, maybe, right?
But Ted's definitely been there the longest, without a doubt, because I mean, this all started when me and Ted still.
He used to thought I was a mixed martial artist. He thought I was a tough guy back in the day. He admitted it. He admits it. He said,
Your security originally.
I'm not telling that story.
He thought I was tough. He was like, "Oh man, that guy looks tough. I'm not gonna mess with him."
We worked in a restaurant, and Ted had that like short guy attitude. Like, you know how people that are short, like they compensate for it by being like a little hard ass. Like, he had that look to him. And then when I talked to him, I was like, wow, how wrong was I?
Oh man. So it looks like we're coming up on an hour. This one's good for Kay. You say crazy rider list for clients that are not top-class artists. How do you deal with that? That's a good question, dude.
Well, to be honest with you, I usually get those kind of riders at colleges. And the truth is that the person that I'm usually dealing with at the college doesn't know anything about riders and gear, and to them it's all Greek. So I'm giving away a little bit of my secrets here. If I have the gear, I'll usually, within reason, I'll try to just do the gig to make it a smooth thing, and I'll give the guy the toys that he wants to play with, which is usually the console. So they might be asking for an L Acoustics K2 rig, right? But they're playing in a 1,000 seat thing in a college.
Or in a gym where you can't hang that.
Talk to the guy about the PA I'm giving him, but I might be like, yeah, we got your Digico, we got this, we got that. And he'll just be like, oh, okay. And then that's the end of it. And I don't really go into details on the other stuff. But if your client, like for instance, when you're dealing, like, all right, I don't want to say the names, but it's like you can figure out there's really only 2 big giant concert promoters. If I'm doing a job for like a real concert promoter, besides the band that you're dealing with and their guy, the people on the other end usually know what's going on, and they'll kind of guide you and be like, yeah, listen, like, we don't have to give them everything they're asking for. Just like, got to be within reason. Send me a list of what you're going to do and we'll get it approved. I always prefer to not be the one to have the fight, because I'll give anybody whatever they're asking for if the money's right. But that's never the case. I mean, usually there's like a budget, and like I know what kind of number they're trying to be within, and I'm either willing to do it or I'm not. So, how to deal with it is tough. I mean, like, let me put my mind back to when I didn't have all the good rider gear. I used to have to call the guy and try to sweet talk him into taking what I was willing to give him and get his approval. And sometimes that battle was a losing battle. Again, back to when I had QSC wide lines. I definitely won some and lost some. So.
Okay, Johnny Simmons saying, at the shop but running out of things to do. How far do you see cancellations going? We discussed this earlier, but what do you think?
My fingers are crossed that things will pick up in September.
Wow.
Again, 80% of my work is at colleges, though. So I can tell you right now, my college work ain't coming back anytime soon. And as far as concerts, who knows? Who's going to want to be the first one to have a concert and potentially risk having an audience get sick at their show?
That's why I think it's going to be
probably some rapper.
I think it's
Do you want to
gonna be
throw Keys' question up?
Grunie.
Anyway.
But here's a good one, Kay. Why not just give it to them to them and charge them? I guess he's talking about the riders.
Because the client doesn't want to pay for it always.
Yeah.
Well, it depends what I'm dealing with. And some of my jobs I'm bidding against other people, so if I'm up against somebody else, I'm not going to just go go ahead and try to get a K2 rig because they're asking for it, because I know what that's going to cost. That's going to blow my quote out of the water. So I try to put together what I think the show is going to become. And I might give a few things away. Might be the Digico, because I own it and I don't have to go and rent it. I'm not at somebody's mercy. So, if bringing an SD10 to a job that I'm going to be using, say what might have been Vertec 8-inch, what was it, the 4887, which is sort of like a weird mismatch. It's like, well, that's what it took for me to get the gig. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, but there's times like with, what was that one we did in that charity? I won't say artist names, but that one at the Altman building, the last one we did there, where I was a big name artist and they wanted their console. It was just it was a little hall.
You got to know who you're dealing with on the other end too.
Right.
I do have some high end clients, and they do pay what they should pay for the stuff, So yeah, I mean, if I get a rider, let's put it this way: there's some riders I get where like you have to give them what they're asking for. Like there is no arguing. It's like, here's the rider, you have to meet this one way or another, But if I'm going to rent something, and get raped on the rental, because that's just the way it goes sometimes, it doesn't matter to me if I can put that number on the invoice and just pass it along. Oh, they got to have an S6L on front of house end monitors and nobody else can touch it, and there's 5 other bands. Whatever. I get my price quote, I take it, I put it on my invoice, I send it off.
I think this one's funny because this is what Grunie will be one day. So what's your take on sound engineers that ask for fancy mics on their list, and in the end, well, no, Grunie's a good mixer. Sorry about that. They don't even get a good mix running.
I think it depends to what extreme. Like if a guy's asking for U87s for his overheads, like no, it's outside and it's going to rain and they're going to get broken. I'm not doing that. If you own them, you can bring them. But and it depends. It depends who you're talking to too. Like if we're talking about a gig in the park that's asking for something like that, that's different. I think it really depends on if you own it or not. Because when you own something, it's easier to just send it out. If you have to rent something nice just for, if the guy wants another 414 for his snare bottom,
I mean,
then he's going to take a 57. But I carry my mics, so it doesn't really matter to me.
This question is the story of my life, dude. Is like every time I get one of those riders that we're talking about where I actually have to give them what they want, the microphone hunt is the worst. It's the worst. Like, people ask for boutique mics that are like, what the hell is this? I never even heard of this thing. And then you got to start making a million phone calls and try and hunt it down. And if you're lucky enough to find a company that actually has the mic, they usually have it out on some tour because some guy put it on his thing and they had to get it. So how do I deal with it? I mean, to tell you the truth, there's been times where I look at the list and I go, I'm close enough. And I just show up and I go, hey, what's the guy going to do? Tell his band we're not playing today because I don't have my M80 on the kick drum.
I think vocal mics are kind of more, they'll make a bigger deal about that than I mean, you remember the one time the guy threw a fit about the trumpet mic, and it got used for one song, and we on a Sunday had to find a 441 in the middle of nowhere. But
Yeah,
you know.
like that guy sprung that out me out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
I mean, because remember we called him and I asked him, and he was like, "Yeah, the 57 is fine. It's on one song." And then the next day when we saw him, I changed my mind. I need a 441.
Yeah. You got to realize, dude, more than half. I mean, most of these riders are just like a wish list. It's like to the guy writing the rider, it's like toys that they're like, maybe I'll get this stuff. You never know. You know, and you got to kind of be able to read the situation if you're looking at that kind of rider, or if you're looking at one where it's like, all right, this matters. I actually have to do all this. So, but you know, sometimes you get the wish list rider from somebody who doesn't deserve to ask for that kind of stuff, and they actually do put up a fight. That's a tough one to kind of navigate. So,
and there's some stuff too, like with my rider, I really push for barricade because, especially overseas, people just like to jump on stage with him, and we don't know who's who. And people are like, well, we don't want to pay for barricade. I'm like, you need to do this though. It's because people are just jump on stage with him. It's a thing. It happens. And that when you bring safety and like that kind of stuff into it, people will kind of give you more leeway. And like, all right, I guess we'll have to pay for that. But yeah.
All right, we got time for a couple more. We got to wrap it up soon because I got to go for my daily walk. I mean, I'm getting in shape, but I walk a couple miles around the block. But
Miles around the block.
Well, around the neighborhood. But we'll show. I think Kay answered this. Where'd it go? What is the most loud man, Max? What was the most you're willing to spend to meet a request of a rider?
well, it depends. So, the most I was willing to spend to meet the request for a specific rider. Let's put it this way. I've definitely had some jobs where I might have seen the greater good down the road, and the entire amount of money I was getting for that job, and then some, might have paid for the piece of gear that I needed to do that job. But it might only be because I was more concerned with the specific client that day, seeing that I'm capable of doing a job of this caliber and knowing that there would be more work to come from it, you know. So it depends. Like if I feel like there's a reason to basically make nothing on the job but acquire this piece of equipment.
John Simmons, how far are y'all from Atlantic City? We're not that far. We're about like hour and a half.
Yeah, well, yeah, from AC.
Hopefully it opens up. It's closed, but hopefully it's open by then. But I'd be down.
Hey, Alex, your question about me refunding deposits. Luckily, I didn't have any. Like, I didn't have any jobs coming up that I had deposits on. So, I mean, I just put a line through the jobs and that's it. So, but if I had deposits, I would have given them back.
Okay. Any thoughts on the new Midas that's coming out?
The new what?
The new Midas.
Yeah, I hope it's better than the Wing.
Well, you're getting him, right? Future unboxing, baby.
Yeah, I most likely would, but that's the kind of board that when I had the Pro 2s, they were for us more so than for meeting riders. I mean, there's jobs that we do where we mix. And if that's the case, you know, I'm not going to send, much to Grunie's chagrin, I'm not going to send the Digicos to jobs where I'm not getting the kind of money that makes sense to send it, if we're the ones mixing especially. So I would send Pro 2s, and I'm hoping that the Heritages are way better than a Pro 2, but sound like that. And, you know, they would be our boards. So the
Music Group in general has been weird. Like that board's not even on their website yet, and I can't navigate any of their stuff anymore. All the Music Group websites have like enterprise and creation, and there's like, I've kind of become frustrated with how they're doing stuff.
Yeah, Music Group's in a bad spot right now. They're, God forbid, you got to get work done, serviced. I mean, it's impossible. It's half the reason I sold the Turbo Sounds.
Well, yeah. Why would you have to turn the limiter on powered speakers?
And I have a feeling this. I know the answer to this question for Steve, but Steve, your thoughts on JB Lighting?
I've actually heard of them.
All right.
Because they have a fixture called the Sparks 30, and it's like a clay packy like BI ish looking wash light. It's pretty cool. I like him.
Oh, he called me out, dude. No, but
That would be, I mean, to be fair, that would be gross if you could.
no, I'm not. But I really do have to walk. But we've been going for 70 minutes. We got to know. You got to leave comments for the
Final questions. Get them in now.
final questions. But should we do this every Friday, you think, maybe? Or different day? Friday's
Every
all right.
other?
Right? I like Friday.
Every other, maybe?
Every other? Look at Kay. Look at Kay's face.
S21.
There's people that actually watch this stuff. I can't.
No, there was 50 or so watching. That's good. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Thanksy.
So it's our next 32. Game changer console. I actually thought when it came out, it was too cheap. I was like, how could it only cost this much? And it does all these things that it does. Like at the time that board came out, the LS9 was the go-to. And the X32 was like capable of doing the same jobs that an LS9 could do. And it was only like $2,000 or whatever, $2,500. And it felt like it should have been like $4,000. At that time, I remember LS9s were like $7,500, and it was like that was cheap at the time. When it comes to system tuning, yeah, when you
don't have time for smart, which is most of the time for me. Do it by ear.
If you owe the IRS money or you owe like people money.
Who owes the IRS? Not me. Not right now. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to system tuning, I use Systune, and I'll play with Smart for a little bit, but I like Systune better. And it's more so I use it more so for time aligning, and it's good for troubleshooting. Like if you're actually having a problem where you're like, why does one side sound different than the other? But a lot of times I don't get too deep into playing with like the magnitude response.
That's the key right there. That's so true. Now, Kay, how much of that is shtick? How much of that is real? I think it's mostly real. But what? Can I hear you?
Why did he say that? What? He loves me being annoyed at things.
He's talking about the vlog.
Oh.
Again, for those of you who don't watch
I think it's like Seinfeld. People like Seinfeld because they get annoyed and you yell at stuff, and it's funny. But
I mean, this is the way Ted has edited my character.
No, that's really him. It's him. It's not character. Look, everyone's saying Friday's a good one. I like Friday. It's pretty mellow.
does anyone want to see stuff from me or Steve or Ted or Kay, like demos and stuff? Or nope, cool.
I'm sure they would. But yeah, should we wrap it up right here? Thanks everyone for joining. I'm gonna close it out. So when we'll announce the next one sometime early next week. But I think it went well, no?
I mean, it started off pretty rough.
We were jumping on each other's questions and all that stuff. But what do you expect? But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. See you next time.
Figure.